Tory Lanez, Peterson. It is 20 songs, an hour and a half worth of content. Everyone featured on the album was a relative. I believe that was the case. So your thoughts on this project, which again, I think we might have some similarities with like how good the quality, at least the production was for this, considering everything.
Yeah. Yeah, I mean, I absolutely love this album. The production and sound of it to me was flawless. Had me in awe on how, easily he seemingly put this whole thing together. Especially because it sounds a whole lot better produced than some of the stuff that comes out from people that are completely free. So I don't really know if that's just a testament to how amazing his team is or what, but kudos to them. I think thematically it was also impressive that for that many songs he was able to
Keep
stick to
going.
a prison theme and like
Yeah.
not, you know, run through the same exact points over and over, especially for people who have never experienced that. Like he touched on so many interesting themes, like obviously, the violence part of it, and then, banging a female cop, debatable if that's true, but regardless, the theme was dope.
Sounded dope.
And he
Yeah.
had like the voicemail skits in there and
Yeah.
and just touched upon and then like someone banging his girl while he's in jail. And that's one of my favorite songs, Sailor Moon. And I thought all of that was just incredible and it just sounded really good. And, you know, hopefully he's truly innocent because if he is, I want him to be out now or yesterday.
Yeah.
But the one critique I have is the album cover and just everything kind of had me wondering if he wanted this to happen. It just seems like he kind of like loves the aesthetic of being in prison and just the image of it. Cause in the cover, he kind of has like a very like I'm
He's
tough
Diesel.
guy.
Yeah,
Yeah, Diesel. I mean, obviously I'm not knocking him for being Diesel, but it kind of looked like he was feeling good about like, yeah, I'm in prison. I'm that nigga type
yeah,
look on
yeah,
his
yeah, yeah.
face.
And like
And then
finally get
throughout
that
the
cosign for being like a tough guy.
yeah, yeah, exactly. And especially for a crime that like is not tough guy shit, which makes it even weirder.
Which
So
that's my
it kind
point.
of
I think
makes
it makes it even weirder.
right. So it makes me wonder, like as he's making all this great music and talking about it, like, does part of him using this as a means of enhancing his image and it's just like a write-off, like, okay, yeah, I'll sit in here for a few years, but guess what? Like I'm boosting my confidence and image, and this is all gonna work out for me in the long run. So kind of low key glad it happened. Like I know that sounds like a sadistic way to think, but it, I couldn't help but wonder, like it seems like he's relishing in the prison life a little more than I would think. But
But
then
it's
again,
almost like what's the alternative? Like lose your fucking mind and like,
right.
so I
And
feel
that
like
very
you
well
like
might be it.
yeah, I think you maybe like I think if you're honest with you, maybe if you're him, you have to spin it in a way like, you know what, bro? Like fuck it. I'm gonna be it. And it is what it is, and I'm gonna embrace this shit. And if I get, more what do they say, like more like badges of honor because I was able to survive this lifestyle for 2 or 3 years, then it's only gonna benefit me in the long run, right? Because dude, what's the alternative? Like you lose your fucking mind, don't put out any content, you lose your umbrellas slash fan base. Like, yeah, you're probably not wrong, bro. But I feel like that's like the only option he has right now because if he just being a pussy about this and like, oh well, we'll see what happens, blah blah blah. Like, dude, I think going on the offensive is the only side of this because especially when Megan and it seems like her legal teams are all still trying to make him look like the violent one. I need a restraining order from him. It's like you need a restraining order from a guy who's in prison. Like how the fuck does that work? So yeah, I think I think leaning into it was like the best option for him. But yeah,
That's a fair point.
when I saw the album cover, I was like, oh, all right, 50 Cent. Like let's just take it.
Yeah, yeah. I know it just when I saw it, it kind of looked like a Fiverr cover to me or something. But
Yeah, bro. But I think a lot of this stuff, which is why I think the production was so surprising because yeah, you would think there'd be moments of this that were low quality, right? Like, dude, you're in fucking jail, right? Like, what kind of photo shoot can we do for you, or recreate? So yeah, again, I would just say comparing it to I Am Music and that like theme of like, bro, the production engineering on this was insane, bro. Like how they were able to make sure he sounded so on beat. Like there was that, and you probably know more of the correct term for this. It was definitely clear though that there was a gap where his voice was and where the beat was though throughout. I feel like that was constant because like I'm just going back to like us editing the pod, like when the sounds aren't in sync perfectly, but man, this was close to perfect, like close to perfect. Like there were a couple of songs like if you didn't know the background story of what's happening, you wouldn't even know that hey, this guy had to rap all this stuff through a fucking iPhone in jail or some shit.
Yeah.
However, though, I'm not gonna say I'm gonna contradict or have the opposite take to you. However, I think I just need to also put my cards on the table. Me personally, bro, like I think, and that we have episodes to prove this over like course of 3 or 4 years. Dude, I've been a Tory fan. There's been Tory moments, and I think his album, Memories Don't Die, the one that had BID and shooters, like that
Mhm.
was the one standout album for me, bro. But I remember a couple episodes that we did where like I shitted on that album where it was like the mixtape where he like recreated everyone's song. Remember,
Yeah,
he
yeah,
had, like
Chicks Tape or whatever.
yeah, that one. The dude, he had like if T Pain had a banger from like 8 years ago, he'd read like all those songs, right? Like, bro, I never liked that about him, bro. Like, I never liked that because it was confusing to me to figure out like what is your sound. And bro, so I'm a Tory fan. I think he's innocent. I'm rooting for him. But bro, I truly struggle with this album because I was like, dog, like I was never really the biggest fan of the overall quality of music prior. And I just think he was at a disadvantage for me personally because of obviously, yes, you're hearing these beats, but you're not in a studio. You're not maybe clear minded as I don't know, man. Like, I don't know. For me, it just, I really tried, bro. Like I listened to this shit like 3 times, man, and I couldn't get one that I just like latched onto because I was just like, bro, this like I wasn't even the biggest fan before. So if this is like my reintroduction to him after 2 or 3 years of being locked up, like yeah, I truly struggled to like wrap my arms around this one.
Damn. I think for me, like, I don't know, I think the production in contrast to Playboy Cardi, I think his flow and vocals match very well on several tracks. And I think the vibe too, um, varied quite a bit. Like I think there were a lot of tracks where I'm like, okay, these are the three. If I'm sitting by the pool, I'll listen to. These are the two if I'm driving and I just want something hardcore to bump, or not hardcore, but like something that bumps. I'll listen to that, and then these three at the gym. Um, Obviously, that storyline you could only listen to so many times, or theme,
Yeah, maybe that
but
was it. I think there's like again, even if certain songs were different, I think the storyline of being at LA County, and I'm like, bro,
Mhm.
I think I had a moment. I'm like, bro, if you say LA County Jail one more fucking time, I'm gonna lose my shit. Like,
Right. And those are like the moments where I'm like, okay, that like in a weird way, it sounds kind of try hard. Like now I get to rap about this. Like, yes. But that's why I ended up gravitating towards the songs that don't really talk about Megan or
sure, sure.
anything else. Even if they might be completely fake, like the Sailor Moon song, which is probably my favorite.
So
And
if
I
if
love
you
the
had to give
production.
someone one song that was like in my boat, like that'd be the song you say go back to and like see what he's spitting on that song.
Yeah, I think Sailor Moon's probably my
Okay.
favorite. And I think the most Drake-esque, if assuming you're a fan of like R&B-ish rappy Drake. I mean, I'd say it's
Yeah.
more R&B, but I think yeah, that's probably my favorite song production wise.
Okay. I'm gonna peep that one, bro. Yeah, because I would say the first couple listens, I was like, yeah, I think the jail conversation was too overwhelming for me that it just when it pivoted to other stuff, like it was so ingrained in my head that like I get it, you're in prison, but like so that when you change the subject, I'm like, but you're saying this from prison, Like I don't know, man. It just like, yeah, I don't know. It was really I really struggled to get like through it and like try to find like a groove of it. But again, it might have just been me or again, I'm telling you, I was never the biggest Tory fan prior. So like I don't think it's also fair to judge a guy off a 25 track or 21 songs and while you're in prison. So, but I'll
Yeah.
peep Sailor Moon and maybe that one can help me like rediscover the groove that you found. So, I think it'll probably be fair for you to give the review then. So, what is your like grade for Peterson?
Oh man, I'd probably say A minus.
Nice. Nice, 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 and not even on like on a not comparing it to Cardi, but just like on his own accord, like A minus.
Yeah, on its own accord, like thoroughly enjoyed pretty much every moment of it. Never really felt like I couldn't wait for it to end. In fact, I'd say the opposite. And the minus is just because there were a couple songs on there that I could have done without. Like I don't really need to listen to them again.
Yeah, 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 yeah. Did you like the? I didn't mind the one where his dad was talking, because that shit just feels genuine and like again, if God forbid, but you're in that position, I feel like do the same thing. So yeah,
Yeah,
I'm gonna put incomplete for mine, but I'm gonna definitely listen to Sailor Moon first, and then try to see if I can like lure me in. But yeah, bro, I think it was the yeah. I think the LA County Jail stuff on like like yeah, it's like remember when Game would just like constantly just like name check. It's like, all
yeah,
right,
yeah.
bro, like I get it, man, but like what else? Like
Right,
that's how I
exactly, and
felt.
it's not even, like, downplaying that, like, "Oh, they're not really like that," or anything like that, but when you mention it too many times, I begin to think that, like, maybe you don't even believe that, like, this is some shit that, like, you're about.
Yeah, that was my thing, bro. It was just I was too aware throughout too many songs in a row that you were in prison, and I'm like, I know you're there, bro. I get that. We're bought in, but what else, bro? Because it's
Right.
not like my thing was like it's not like you're giving us a little 5 track EP to keep us interested. You're saying this is a body of work. So I think it's like, dude, 20 songs about like essentially the same subject or what it felt like, because maybe some of the songs were like so towards that. That's where I was a little thrown off. But I'll give it another listen because I'll admit maybe it's incomplete for me because it just threw me off so much about the LA County Jail stuff. But
Yeah.
A minus from Blair, incomplete from me. Let us know in the comments what you thought about the Peterson Tory Lanez album.